Diplomatic complications in Europe and a power struggle for the Baltic Sea sucked Sweden and Russia into a war against each other in the year of 1808. The history of conflict between these two countries is a long one, with its focus on who could control the lucrative trade on the Baltic Sea. Russian military superiority combined with a Finnish elite fed up with the Swedish king quickly concluded the outcome. Peace conditions were rough for the losers. In 1809, Sweden had to surrender Finland and Åland to the Russian Empire. The Russians had strengthened their position of power in the Baltic Sea. Now they intended to secure that position. The Åland Islands became the western outpost of the Russian Empire, a strategically important point in the defense of St. Petersburg. Already in 1809, plans were made for a mighty fortification on Åland. The fortification was intended to become an invincible stronghold in the Baltic Sea region, a military position that would secure Russian influence for a long time to come. A combination of heights and narrow straits made Bomersund the ideal location. On the eastern part of the main island, it also made for an excellent bridgehead. Bomersund was therefore strategically placed for offensive purposes. An extensive fortification of the bastion model, with walls in sharp corners, was planned, very much like Sveaborg outside Helsinki. It was soon realized, however, that technological advances had made bastion fortresses obsolete. Building had not yet started, and it was to be postponed for a further decade. The empire focused on its southern border against the Ottoman Empire, or the Turks. In the Black Sea area, the fortress at Sevastopol was strengthened. In the Baltic Sea area, mainly the fortress of Kronstadt at St. Petersburg was strengthened. Resources didn't seem sufficient for all of the projects simultaneously. The plans for Bomersund were first brought up again in the late 1820s. At this point, military thinking was focused on a new type of fortress. A few years earlier, when Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated in Waterloo, a new kind of weapon was successfully used. The shrapnel grenade was a cluster bomb with a range of more than 1 kilometer. Fortresses needed to be built to better protect men and equipment from this type of grenade. The bastion was obsolete. The choice fell upon the polygonal model of Montalembert, with casemated cannon towers in several stories. The separate parts were intended to catch an attacking enemy in a crossfire. The plans at Bomersund were of monumental proportions. The fortifications would enclose an area of over 70 hectares. 12 round cannon towers, together with a 290-meter-long main fortress and other fortified buildings, would carry a total of 500 cannon. The plans also included 100 cannon sloops and a garrison of 4,000 to 5,000 soldiers. Hospitals, storehouses, administrative buildings, officers' quarters and other maintenance buildings were also planned. Practically an entire garrison town was drawn up to be built in Bomersund. The architecture was important also on a symbolical level. A monumental fortress symbolized the Russian imperial presence in the Baltic Sea. Like the post office in Eckerö and the Senate Square in Helsinki, Bomersund would speak the language of the power of the Russian Empire. Only a day trip away from the Swedish capital, the message to the old enemy was loud and clear. Sweden had to accept that Russia had seized the upper hand. As most extensive projects, the plans for Bomersund were repeatedly delayed by criticism and changes. After many turns, construction slowly gained momentum. The landscape started to change, and with it the entire future of the Åland Islands would change.